All right, welcome to the Marshall Football 2007 Signing Day Show. I'm Chuck McGill. People don't know me here. I am the Assistant Athletic Director of Fan Donor Engagement and Communications. That means I wear a lot of hats within the athletic department. My primary goals are to help produce Thundering Herd Illustrated, which is our production that we produce in conjunction with IMG. If you're not a member of the Big Green, please sign up and you can get that publication. This is our first ever Thundering Herd Illustrated with Vinnie Curry on the cover. Our sixth issue of Thundering Herd Illustrated drops tomorrow. It will have the 1987 NCAA tournament team on the cover, 30 years since that team made the NCAA tournament run, and the voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton, stepped out from behind the mic to write that story and did a bang-up job. Tomorrow's issue will also have an update on the Vinnie Curry project, which is the locker room project that we've got going on downstairs here in the Shuey building. Of course, I'm here today to help put together this show. We have a good show lined up for you. We have 4 assistant coaches who will be here to talk to you about the recruits that came in today. We'll have 4 support staff, strength and conditioning, video, compliance, and the lovable Mark Gale, Assistant Athletic Director of Football Operations here, will come and talk to us. And then at 3:07, to wrap up the show until 3:30, we'll have head football coach Doc Holliday here with me to go over the signing day class. You might also see my work on herdzone.com. I put my feature content on our student athletes there. Read about it there. Please go click herdzone.com often and keep up with the herd. Of course, the excitement of signing day is that we get to welcome in a bunch of new student athletes into our football family. We also have a lot coming back, and that's always exciting. A lot of skilled players, all of our quarterbacks come back, all of our running backs come back. We're really deep on the offensive and defensive line. We'll have coaches there to talk to you about that. Who's coming back there? Linebackers, a lot of youth on the defensive side of the ball. So when you're kind of envisioning this signing class, envision it with what is all is coming back and how that's going to work together. And our assistant coaches and head football coach Doc Holliday will help put that together. One thing I'd like to review with you, we recently released the 2017 Marshall football schedule. That is the 4 non-conference games along with the 8 Conference USA games. That schedule features 7 bowl opponents from the 2016 season. Of course, 3 games in September will be against schools from Ohio, plus a road trip to NC State. We'll visit Cincinnati as well after the bye week, September 23rd. Please note that on your schedule. That was a game that was originally scheduled for September 23rd, but will now be September 30th at Cincinnati. Mark your calendars accordingly. Good parts of our schedule, only 1 back-to-back on that schedule for the road, and it's Cincinnati, and then we open conference play at Charlotte the next week. So those nice, friendly back-to-back games there. And all games will be played in West Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, and Virginia through the first 7 weeks of the season. That's through October 14th. So if you love to see the herd in person, you'll have plenty of opportunities, home and road, easily accessible games for your watch. Going through that schedule, obviously the opening with Miami is a big deal. Miami won its last 6 regular season games and made a push in the bowl. At NC State will be a big deal. This is the first ACC school to sign a home-and-home with Marshall while being in the ACC. NC State will come back here in 2018. Good year last year. Went 7-6, beat Old Dominion, Wake Forest, Notre Dame. Finished the regular season with a win at North Carolina and then won the Independence Bowl. So that'll be a toughie. Kent State, old MAC friend, at Cincinnati in a renovated and expanded Nippert Stadium. And Cincinnati will return that game in 2019. And then, of course, we go into the Conference USA portion of the schedule. At Charlotte, home against Old Dominion. At Middle Tennessee, home against FIU. At Florida Atlantic, home against Western Kentucky. At Texas San Antonio, and home against Southern Miss. And a good part of that about the Conference USA schedule is that only one of those teams, FIU, has a bye week before they play Marshall. So that's a good friendly schedule for us. That's what you want when you're out of your conference schedule. Future games, just as a reminder, we'll return that trip to Miami in 2018, at South Carolina in 2018. Of course, NC State comes here. In 2019, at Boise State, with games against Ohio and Cincinnati here. 2020, road games against East Carolina and Ohio highlight that schedule. So that's going to be a really good schedule that year. Before we bring up our first guest, I'd like to remind you to sign up with the Herd today. Season ticket renewals right now. Sign up. If you do it today by 5 p.m., you can receive a custom signing certificate. New customers can pay a $50 deposit toward season tickets. You can do that by visiting herdzone.com or calling 800-THE-HERD. Our first guest will be Todd Goebel, who's the receivers coach and recruiting coordinator here at Marshall University. We'll follow that up with Adam Fuller, who's the associate head coach and linebackers coach. So right away, we'll get to offense and defense, breaking down as many people as possible. Once those two coaches are out of the way, we'll have Luke Day, the strength and conditioning coach here, and Luke Mullett, director of video services. Alex Mirabal, the line coach, and Sean Cronin, the defensive line coach, will stop by. We'll also hear from Bill Timpano, who has had a busy day in compliance. This is one of the big days of the year for Billy. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Mark Gale will be here to talk to you about his role in recruiting. He's seen it all as a coach here on the field and now as in football ops. And then our final 23 minutes will be dedicated to Doc Holliday, the head football coach.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
All right, we're here with Todd Goebel, the receivers coach and recruiting coordinator at Marshall University. Big day for you, Todd. This is what you get up for, right?
Yeah, this is the Super Bowl of every year. Get up early in the morning, and hope you can get all faxes in by 8:30 and a little earlier than that. So it's a great day for the Herd. Definitely filled a lot of needs that our coaches work diligently in fixing, and we're excited about the class we brought in.
Sleep a little better tonight, probably?
Definitely.
Well, let's get to three guys right off the bat. First and foremost, I want you to talk a little bit about a guy you've got in your position room, Tyree Brady.
Yeah, Tyree Brady came to us from South Dade High School, and he's a University of Miami transfer. Extremely talented young man, 6'2", 200 pounds, can run extremely well. We're looking for him to fill that void in that X position left by some guys that have graduated this year. Dynamic with the ball in his hands, strong, extremely hard-working young man. And the biggest thing we're looking for is anybody that, a one-on-one matchup guy. If you don't want to put a safety over top of him, he can win his one-on-one battles. And the things he showed us lately is that's definitely the guy we got.
Marcel Williams, another guy that fits into that picture. What do you like about Marcel?
Well, Marcel's a little different than Tyree. Marcel, we found him in Ellsworth Community College out in Iowa. He's a young man originally from Florida. He's a slot-type kid. He's long and tall for a slot. But what we're looking for Marcel to do is come in here and when our screen game is called and the bubbles and the smoke screens and those things, is just like anything, become a punt returner or a kick returner, which he did at Ellsworth and was very, very successful in doing so. As you look at the young man, every time he catches the football, he's got initial twitch. He can explode and accelerate. And the best thing about him is he finishes all runs. And that's what we're looking for in our slot receiver, where he can take a 5-yard shallow cross and take it the distance, which we're excited about Marcel.
And then, of course, you got Montario Hunt.
Yeah, we just got some good news. Montario just announced that the Herd is the place he's going to spend the next 4 years. We went all the way to Mississippi to find Montario Hunt. He's from Walnut, Mississippi. 3-star athlete there, played multiple positions, played everything from quarterback to tailback to outside receiver. And once again, anytime we're looking for a receiver, we want a guy that's dynamic with the ball in his hands. And, as you see on the film, every time he catches the ball, he makes the first guy miss, and then he's able to accelerate and extend plays. So we're very excited about Montario. He's going to be here for 4 years. He's going to be a dynamic player for us.
Now, you've got to be a really happy position coach because we just talked about those three guys, but that's not it. But can you tell us a little bit about some of the other guys you've got welcome into your position room?
Oh, absolutely. Right now we're pretty spoiled. There's a young man that's on campus already. He was here this fall named Darian Ozens from Fresno, California. He has done nothing but impress us each and every day with his work ethic, his speed and his agility and those things. So Darian's going to be an X factor this year for us, and excited to see how he progresses. 2 other guys is Nyquan Reynolds and also Janario Crankfield, both young men we brought in this freshman class. And I know I'm being redundant, but the one thing we had to do is we had to get faster on the perimeter. And those two young men have tremendous ball skills, great range, can run good routes for young people. But when the ball touches their hands, what they're able to do with it afterwards is fun to see.
And of course, we spend a lot of time talking about receivers, but just because that's your position doesn't mean that's all you're involved with. Some of the guys you were involved in recruiting, Sheldon Evans, Isaiah Green, Armani Levias. Can you talk about those guys?
Well, to be quite honest with you, it's not one individual. It was our entire staff. That's one thing that was unique about this year is we've cross-recruited a ton. And there's the area coach which finds the recruits. Then the position coach does a tremendous job of making sure they piggyback each other. And then, of course, our coordinators and our head coach, you know, it was an exhausting year in regards to getting these young men to sign with Marshall. But our coaches worked extremely hard.
How do these guys, particularly the receivers in your position room, fit with what you got coming back?
Well, we just got pretty much, we have a youth movement going on in our room. We got two older gentlemen just by age, Donquell Green and then Tyree are our juniors. And the rest, to be quite honest with you, are freshmen or redshirt freshmen. And it's an exciting time.
I was going to say that's got to be refreshing in a way to have kind of a blank slate to work with these guys.
Yeah, they're young, they're hungry, and you know, you saw it this morning. We had our first mat drills this morning at 5:30 a.m. and those guys went to work.
I'm going to touch on this a little bit more later with Luke Day with the mat drills. What was that like? Start your signing day with 5:45 a.m. mat drills.
Well, I don't think there's any better time to start it. You got a new group of people coming in, but you get to see what you already have that's going to go into the season and make it special.
Your role as recruiting coordinator, what's the, if you can give us item 1, 2, 3 that you're most concerned with?
Well, first as recruiting coordinator, there's two young men on our staff, Russ Kieselhorst and also Deshaun Brown. They work in the player personnel department and also high school relations department. And those two young men work extremely hard. They're tireless workers, and they're a huge part of this recruiting class. And to be quite honest with you, as long as I organize it with those two guys and this incredible staff and how hard they work, that's why we're able to bring in recruiting classes like we do each and every year.
Does it start all over tomorrow? Do you get started on class of 2018 tomorrow, or how does it work?
Started yesterday.
Started yesterday. Looking ahead, I mean, what do you, March, April, obviously there's spring ball, but what do coaches do with recruiting in the months ahead?
There's never a day that we don't recruit, and it's all driven by our head football coach, Coach Holliday. You know, recruiting never stops. It's a 24-hour-a-day job, 365 days a year, and that's the attitude we take as a staff as a whole. And you know, whether it's evaluations, whether it's phone calls, whether it's extra letters written, I'm very proud of our entire staff, the way they exhaust all their energy toward recruiting, because we're very proud of what we brought in this year, and we'll continue to bring great recruiting classes into Marshall.
And just I want to circle back to Isaiah Green since he's the quarterback in this group. What stands out about his film?
Isaiah, when you watch his film, he's a guy that can extend football plays. He can throw from different platforms. He can throw on the run. He's able to sit in the pocket like a natural quarterback and deliver on time. He's got great anticipation. And the biggest thing about Isaiah Green, when you get to spend time around him, he has that it factor. He's a magnet. People like to be around him. People like to work for him. And anytime you can get a quarterback that can come in here, that can get people to do what they don't want to do, you got a chance.
All right, that's perfect. I'd like to thank Todd Goebel, wide receivers coach and recruiting coordinator, for getting us started here on our 2017 Signing Day show.
Appreciate your time.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
But always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom, on the field,
in the community,
and wherever life takes you. Show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
It's time.
it's time.
It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. 1, 2, 3, showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.
All right, welcome back to the Marshall Football 2017 Signing Day Show. We're here with Associate Head Coach and Linebackers Coach Adam Fuller. What do you think of a day like this?
You know, I don't want to say it's just another day. You try and take every day for what it is, but it started waking up in the morning, and we got to work with our entire team for the first time since, that last practice before the last game of the season last year. So, it starts with that. There were a bunch of phone calls last night just to assure more that it was organized, that you knew what time it was going in, and to assure everybody kind of what to expect on the other end. And, once those mat drills got finished, you met with your current players and came back here and, started to work on. We did a little football in the morning as some of the faxes were coming in, and, we got a function tonight, with some of the fans. So, good overall day, but every day brings its own challenges. But this was an exciting day for us.
Well, let's start with a guy who you'll have at your position, Donye Moody. What stands out about Donye Moody?
Well, Chuck, first, we graduated some guys at that position, and, we got to continue to bring in good football players, and so we made a decision to go out and look for some mid-year, because we thought we needed some more maturity, some older playmakers on this team. So, we started to recruit the junior college ranks, and it was our whole staff, but we identified two early, and Donye was one of them. Donye's out of Baltimore, really only played 1 year of high school football, was a basketball player, so it fits into the athletic core that we're usually looking to make at linebacker. And so I went out there, met Donye for the first time out there at Hartnell, and I gravitated towards him. He's got an unbelievable personality, is very mature, takes care of his business, graduated out there in a year and a half. And obviously he's got natural instincts of playing football. Outside linebacker, inside linebacker, he's played some corner, returned kicks, played tight end, was like I said, really good high school basketball player. And we brought him up here, had a battle a little bit for him because, that mid-year now with the junior college kids, it accelerates this process so much. But the value of it is Donye Moody's been on campus for 4 weeks now, working, developing, and I think our fans and our program is going to love having him here. He'll have some instant impact here, and what role he'll determine over the next 6-7 months. But we really like the talent and the skill set he brings and the maturity he brings, the way he goes about his business. Another
Exciting guy is Artise Johnson, linebacker / safety out of Reedley Community College, originally out of Lott, Texas. What stands out about him?
There's another one. You're watching all the tape, and you're looking at Artise here on tape. But Artise was right outside of Rosebud Lott High School out in Lott, Texas, right near Waco. Was actually a quarterback in high school. Small school. They had a great year his senior year. But, very under-recruited, ended up going out to California, started out as a quarterback there. They moved him to safety. He had a small injury. They moved him outside linebacker, and really Artise is, very similar to DJ Hunter type, where he has a safety skill set. We're going to look at him an outside linebacker, and again, just a really mature, love the way he goes about his business. And he's got the skill set. Anybody that's touched the ball, and even at Reedley this year, Chuck, he played outside linebacker, returned punts, as you see on his statistics, returned kickoffs, returned punts, played wildcat quarterback this year. Just an overall athlete that has the strength, size, power combination that you're looking for to really be an impact defensive player. We're excited about Artise. He brings, again, level of maturity and just work ethic and toughness that we're looking for.
We talk about athleticism. Another video we have here is Nerion Washington, a 6'1", 170-pound defensive back out of DeSoto County High School, Arcadia, Florida. Recruited by you, played receiver, running back. You have him slot as defensive back, 4.5 in the 40. What do you like about him?
Well, the first thing you like about Nerion is we got a connection back there. DeSoto is right it's in Arcadia, right in the middle of the state there. You watch Nerion here on tape, and he's explosive, athletic, long. What really helped us with this recruitment is Matt Egloff, head coach at DeSoto, friend of mine, known for a long time, very well respected. He actually got Nerion up here this summer to camp, which is unusual for the Florida guys to be able to come up here in the summer. But he showcased his talents with us. He worked with Coach Heater this summer, and just somebody that has really taken his senior year, missed his junior year with some injuries, but just an overall athlete. And again, love his personality, love everything he's about, and somebody that we're really going to be able to lean on defense here in the future with his work ethic and skill set.
back into your defense, Sherrod Thompson, 6'2", 195-pound safety. That's a guy who I think could make an immediate impact.
Yeah, we're really excited about Sherrod. You know, it goes in the same situation we talked about with Danye and Ortiz. They're here now, you know, so you really get to work with them and dig in and develop them. You get an extra semester with them. And we're talking about all these athletes that are safeties, linebackers, we play with 3 of them, we play with 2 of them, we play with 2 safeties. We'll play with a combination of these different players. But the one thing that these 3 that we talked about, Sherrod, Danye, Ortiz, bring is they can all run. They've played multiple positions. We think they're ultra competitors, and they fit and help our defense grow.
And then as we wrap up here, just your room in general, what do you see coming back and kind of as we look toward the 2017 season?
Well, what's important to us is that core group. Listen, we got a lot of improvement to be made. We weren't at the standards as a team, defensively or positionally, that we expect. So we graduate Devontre Tyler, who's a solid player for us, but everybody else is back. And I'm excited about that because I think the best is yet to come with the room that we had. So I'm excited to develop those players and the influx of new talent with Danye and Ortiz and others that we have coming in here.
All right. I'd like to thank Associate Head Coach and Linebackers Coach Adam Fuller for his time. Next up, we'll have Luke Day, Strength and Conditioning Coach.
Thanks, brother.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
But always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom,
On the field,
In the community.
And wherever life takes you, show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Luke Day, the Strength and Conditioning Coach at Marshall University. First year here on campus still. I tell you what, I got up here. It was dark when I arrived this morning, and came over here, and players were filing out of the weight room. They looked exhausted. I don't want to call them out, but I've never seen Blake Keller look like that.
Right.
What was going on in the weight room this morning at 5:45 a.m.?
Today marked the first mat drill. That's a staple in winters here at Marshall University. It's been that way for a long time since Coach Holliday's been here. Called a mat drill because they used to take place in the old days in wrestling rooms. Now we do it in the indoor facility. But it's 6 stations, and all it is designed to make you really uncomfortable and still perform a task that we're asking you to do very specifically, which is exactly what the game of football is. So how uncomfortable can you be made, starting with getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then when your brain is telling you to stop doing this, this isn't good to continue doing this, and then you still have to lock in and get the task completed. That's a big deal. So, and then being reliant on each other to get that thing done in each station, and it wears them out. And the first day of that was today.
So not only does it wear them out, but it's a team building activity.
100%, 100%. You know, it's one of our big concepts this year in our off season is we are what I am. You know, so whatever I'm bringing that day is a collective of what we're going to be on the field. So it's great if I have a great day, but my partner doesn't, then we weren't great. And if I have a bad day, then we weren't great. So being interdependent on each other and understanding that my best effort is only as good as your best effort, and we're only going to get where we want to go and up from where we were doing that.
So what are some of the main off-season goals for this team?
Well, obviously the number one is to get as big and as strong and as physical as you possibly can. It doesn't really matter to be in great running shape right now. We're not going to line up and tee it off until September 2nd. So let's increase size. Let's get strong. Let's get leaned out You know, all pounds are not created equal. So everybody, if you got different composition goals, some people need to be leaning out and some people need to be increasing. So that physically is a big deal. And then more importantly is mentally laying a foundation of toughness. And what does that mean? Is it just you understand that the value of what you're trying to complete is more important than how it makes you feel in the moment. And that's kind of how it works day in and day out. So.
And then it's not just over there pushing weight, it's
No.
your diet and everything else.
It's total athlete development. You know, you can train as hard as you possibly can, but that's just the stress of it. If you're not recovering from it, you don't ever get better from it.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're putting in after you get done with that workout, how you're recovering, how you're sleeping, it's impossible to out-train a poor diet and bad sleeping habits. You can't do anything without those. So, and young guys, that's a big deal to learn. So.
Now, obviously, it is signing day, though. What's your role kind of in recruiting when athletes are on campus, on official visits, kind of how?
I meet, and my staff meets with every single guy that comes in here on their official visits. They're going to come in, they get a look at the weight room, they get a look at what a workout looks like with us, what it is, how we train, those type of systems. And then on Sunday morning, I come in, and it's just me and the family, and we're going to talk about what it's like on a daily basis to develop yourself into a Division I athlete playing at a big-time level. And I think that's important that they realize that they spend more time in the weight room and with the strength staff than anybody on campus. You get 15 days of practice in spring ball, and then you don't tee it up again until August. All that time in between, you're in there working in the weight room.
What are some common questions you get from recruits when they come on campus? Because it's got to be a little bit of a shock to them what they're going to dive into.
Oh, yeah. Biggest one is they'll ask about supplements. You know, what kind of supplements should I be taking, Coach? And the first thing I say is a supplement means in addition to. So what are you eating first? And if you're not eating 3 or 4 meals a day, then it doesn't matter what kind of supplements you're taking. And then, you know, they want to know about the types of lifts we do and things like that. But we tell guys that are coming in or committed to us, we don't care how much you bench press or how much you squat. Come in and you're in good shape and you got some good habits. That's the biggest deal, first off.
Is there usually, I mean, a common bad habit? Is it eating? Is it?
Yeah, that light bulb doesn't go off for a while with young athletes. Even in the NFL, it's not till the second or third year that guys understand that what I'm putting in is results to my output on the field. So if you're a Ferrari and you're surviving on cheese sticks from the gas station, you're not high octane right there. So that's a big learning concept for kids across the board everywhere.
All right. Well, that was Luke Day, strength and conditioning coach here at Marshall University. Up next, we'll have Luke Mullet, director of video services.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. 3 showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Welcome back. We're here with Luke Mullet, the director of video services at Marshall University. Works here in the Shuey building every day. Luke, what's kind of your job one main primary goal here with inside the Marshall football program?
Inside the Marshall football program, I take care of all the video and technology needs that the entire football staff has, along with some other athletic programs on campus, but mainly just making sure that they have everything they need from a technology standpoint, a video standpoint, opponent film, and things like that.
Obviously, as far as it relates to recruiting, film of prospective student athletes has got to be a big part of it, making sure the coaches have that video? What all do you help prepare in that regard?
For recruiting, I just help make sure that we have every possible bit of information on that kid video-wise, and that includes finding it from the different resources and then bringing it back in-house and updating it in our in-house system that we watch recruiting film on, and making sure that we have everything that they need for any kind of information that they could possibly need on the kid, video related. So I make sure that they have all that for them.
And video just evolves, it seems like every single year. You got Huddle popping up, Thundercloud, we got coaches with iPads. How do you use technology in your role?
Yeah, technology is really growing within football, and it's kind of the new age right now. But even with, we have Thundercloud, which is provided by our software provider, Exos, and that allows us to get instantaneous film to the coaches while they're out on the road with iPads and any kind of different mobile device that they have. They're able to watch recruits instantaneously through those kind of different deals, and a lot of different stuff happening with in-house technology too, but specifically with that recruiting. It's kind of changing how coaches work while they're on the road and even in-house, and it's definitely changing the game a little bit.
In your role, you get to use a lot of creativity too. If you go to YouTube, you can find videos on Ryan Juracek, and we work together in a piece with the offensive line. It's stuff that really can to show people the program, show recruits the program, what we're about, who we are, the town, its people, the school. That's a year-round process though, right?
Yeah, I would definitely, when you ask what is my biggest role in recruiting, that's probably it. It's from just the year-out basis of displaying Marshall University and Marshall University football in a way throughout the year that, just really sums up who we are as a program and what the goals are here and the type of kids that we're looking for. Just getting that information out to kids and making sure that they know who we are here, through video, kids that are across the country, and even doing different stuff for our alumni base and boosters and Big Green and all that too.
And then for National Signing Day, when recruits are on campus on official visits, what do you see them, talk to them, what kind of things?
Yeah, I'm here for their whole recruiting visit. I do different things with setting up the highlight videos in different locations that we're going to be watching it, doing different things in the locker room, and then kind of just individually talking to the kids about all the different things that we do here to help them. That kind of goes back to that technology and how it's kind of infusing itself into college football, and that's just the same thing with Thundercloud and watching film at home on their phones and iPads. And
we've still got a couple minutes with this segment with you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the plane crash video prior to the Middle Tennessee State game. It was a video that moved a lot of people, touched a lot of people. It was really talked about, and we talk about A, using that creative side, but also B, using your role to kind of reach the community and reach prospective student athletes and kind of tie everybody together, and that's something that did it. Can you kind of walk us through how that video came about, all the players, you didn't do it by yourself, right, all the players who kind of came into that and produced,
yeah, absolutely,
what everybody ultimately saw?
When I first got here, I just really had an urge to do something that really meant something to the program. With all the tradition, the history that we have at Marshall University, I really wanted to do something for the team that really kind of sent the message of the tradition that you have here at Marshall and who you're following behind. And it kind of turned into something bigger with it going out to, the intro video for the game that week and then going out to the public. But yeah, I just really wanted to do something that captivated everybody as a fan base and definitely for the team as well. And I think the guys, that Friday night was probably, we show highlight videos every Friday night to the team. And my goal has always been to make a video that helped us win the football game. And I don't think I did that this Friday, but I think I came pretty close to something that I think is pretty hard from my role to go win a football game. But, we came out that Saturday and against the odds kind of did something that, was pretty special that night.
Yeah, it was, obviously that video was shown also before the fountain ceremony. When you started putting that together, did you ever think it would captivate and kind of catch on like it did?
No, I had no idea. When I first started doing it and doing it for the team highlight, it was just something that was going to be a message. And then as I was creating it, it just kept building and building itself into something more where you don't even know what you're doing while you're doing it. And then when I finally took a step back and watched it, I just said wow to myself. And I've never done that to myself. And I've had many of my students come watch it after that. And I have one student whose grandparents were in the plane crash, and he immediately started crying. He couldn't even speak at all. And I said, "Did you like it?" And he just shook his head with tears in his eyes. So I knew, that's when I kind of knew that it was going to be something special for the university.
That's awesome. This has been Luke Mullett, Director of Video Service here at Marshall University, a very key part of the football program and athletic department at large. Next up, we'll have Alex Mirabal, the offensive line coach here at Marshall University. He'll give you the scoop on that group.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
but always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom,
On the field,
In the community,
And wherever life takes you, show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
It's time.
It's time. It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. 3 showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.
All right, welcome back to the Marshall Football 2017 Signing Day Show here inside the Shuey Building, where class is in. It looks good. We're here with Alex Mirabal, the offensive line coach here at Marshall University. And first up, we're going to talk about Kyron Taylor, listed at 6'2", 271 out of South Dade High School, Homestead, Florida. You love the Florida kids.
Yeah, he's from South Dade High School, a high school that both Coach Holliday and myself over the years have had a lot of success going down there and recruiting kids out of. Kyron, got to see him as a sophomore for the first time in spring football as a sophomore, got to see him, laid my eyes on him, and was a guy that I knew from an athleticism and a toughness and a physical standpoint that I would want someday to be part of the Marshall offensive line. Kyron also last season is more, to me, I love wrestlers that can play offensive line because of leverage, because of balance. Kyron last year won 44 matches and ended up winning at the highest classification in the state of Florida, ended up winning the state heavyweight championship. This year, Kyron is currently 34-0 as a wrestler, ranked number 1 in the state of Florida for the heavyweight division. Last year at the end of the season won the national championship heavyweight in Virginia. So he's a very accomplished wrestler. The wrestling program right now, his freshman, sophomore, and junior year, their team has won the state title. They are the state title favorite again this year. As a sophomore, he was with Tyree Brady and Doyle Grimes on the football team that won the state title at Southwood. To me, it's important. The kid knows how to win, and he is a champion. And that's the kind of kid that I want in that offensive line room.
How many state champion wrestlers do you have now? It seems like they're everywhere across that offensive line.
Well, you got him, and you got Jordan Dowry, those two guys. And I know Devers at some point in time didn't win a state championship, but was also a wrestler. Coach Holliday's a state championship wrestler at Hurricane High School back in the day. And so it's just, I mean, to them, football's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling is hard. Football's easy compared to wrestling. So that's something that I love. And I went to see Kyron wrestle at practice, and he's got technique, he's got fundamentals. He's not just some big dude that throws another guy on the ground and the guy can't get up. He's a real wrestler. So maybe one day we can match him and Jordan Dowry up in a mat drill.
Yeah.
And see what we got.
All right, you mentioned Tyree Brady, a guy that played with Kyron.
Yeah.
That's got to be good already. You'll have that kind of
Yeah, you know,
chemistry.
and that's all about the Marshall family. And, you know, your best recruiters are your players. Your best recruiters are your players. And one of the things that got Tyree Brady up here was Doyle Grimes. Doyle Grimes and him are thick now. I mean, they are thick, and they go thick back to high school. And so the fact that Doyle was having a good experience up here, on the field, off the field, the way the coaches dealt with him, helped us get an in with Tyree Brady. And then Tyree and Doyle helped us with Chiron. So those are your best recruiters. And because they're the ones who tell the recruits the truth about what really goes on in a football program. And so those three guys, and the awesome thing, and I know Coach Goebel touched upon it, Tyree Brady he's an alpha.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a leader. He's tough, and it's awesome to have that at a skill position. I mean, a lot of times wide receivers get tagged as being divas. He's anything but that. I mean, he is tough. He's grinds, and because of that, he's got a tremendous. Even though he hasn't played a game for Marshall yet, he's got a tremendous amount of respect from his fellow players.
And then another guy that you were involved with on the defensive side of the ball, Jamari Edwards, 6'3", 240 out of Carroll City High School in
Yeah.
Miami. How'd you become involved with him?
You know what? Truthfully, Jamari, I went to watch Chiron in his spring game, May 24th or whatever it was last year, down in at FIU North Stadium. And I went down there to watch him, and I'm like, hey, who the heck is this number 99 for Carroll City? He had just transferred into Carroll City, and he's just making a ton of plays. Well, guess what? It's Jamari Edwards. He wasn't making those plays on Chiron, but he was making the plays and enough where you write down number 99 and you go ask Coach Aubrey Hill there at Carroll City, hey, who's number 99? And it's Jamari Edwards. And it's kind of where we started our path with Jamari. And then again, Coach Holliday's connections down there, his defensive coordinator at Carroll City is Damon Cogdale. Cogdale was recruited by Coach Holliday and went to play for Coach Holliday at another school up north. And so again, it's just about connections and people.
And then before we let you go,
Yep.
Chiron Taylor is the lone offensive lineman in this
Yep.
group.
Yeah.
Fans who follow recruiting might be, why not more? Explain why.
First of all, we all have numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And at Marshall, we have slotted for having 15 scholarship offensive linemen. And, well, we got 14.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed one more. So that's why you recruit one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we took 5. You know, coming up this year we'll take 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all based on that number. And you know, part of Coach Goebel's job is to keep us as position coaches, coordinators, head coach, disciplined to those particular numbers. I will tell you this, it's easy recruiting when you're taking 5 offensive linemen. It's hard when you're taking 1. Because to take 1, you can't only offer 1, you got to offer a group, but for only 1 spot. So that's tough. So I'd much rather be able to recruit 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen than 1. But that's why we only signed 1, because we only had an opening for 1 guy. You know, and he's a boy that had been committed to us for a long period of time. On December 23rd, he got shaky, called me, Coach, I think I need to decommit to make sure that I'm making the right choice. So I slept with one eye open the entire time, and we were able to get him back in the fold. Coach Holliday went down there. We were able to get him back in the fold on January 22nd, I believe, and then he ended up signing with us. He actually was our first guy that sent the fax in today, so that was a great kid, tough kid. But that's how the numbers work.
All right.
Yeah.
Alex Beerball, offensive line coach, Marshall University. Next up, we'll have defensive line coach, Sean Cronin.
Thank you.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
But always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom, on the field,
In the community.
And wherever life takes you, show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
All right, welcome back to the Marshall University Football 2017 Signing Day Show here inside the Shuey Building. Well, we've been going strong since it was dark when we started this day. Faxes started rolling in at 7:01, and it's been going all day long. We have a class here, and now we have Sean Cronin, who coaches on the defensive line here at Marshall. And first, though, we're going to talk about a receiver who you were involved with.
Well, first I'd like to talk about how I got put after the two Lukes.
You can discuss that with our Associate Athletic Director, Aaron Goebel,
Okay.
who's the man behind the scenes over there, not wanting mentioned, but does a great job.
Yeah.
Naquan Reynolds, 6'2", 180-pound receiver out of West Orange High School in Winter Garden, Florida. What do you like about this guy?
Well, first, biggest thing is he's really explosive. You can see on the video here, when he gets the ball, you can see him accelerate. And that's the biggest thing. Everybody's worried about 40 times. And with Naquan, he is fast. He's a track guy, extremely fast guy over top end speed. But the biggest difference in these type of athletes is just their explosion and burst that allows them to separate. And you can see that with him. You know, he's got the athletic ability and quickness to maybe play inside, but he's tall enough and fast enough to play outside as well.
And then Jamari Edwards, a guy that we talked about last segment a little bit. He gets to join your group on the defensive side of the ball. What stands out about his tape?
Yeah, Jamari is a guy who, you know, like Coach Mirabal said, you know, he's a state champion this year. Carroll City won the state championship down in Miami. He was a all-Dade player, which is one of the best counties in Florida. Tons of football players. He's a guy who had 2 sacks in the state championship game, 2 TFLs, had 3 pressures. He can get out to the quarterback, but he's also a physical guy. You know, he's a guy who's shown toughness. He can lock out. He can get off of blocks and make plays, which is the way Coach Heater's scheme is built for the D-line to make plays, and he can do that and provide that for us.
And then as we talked about with Coach Mirabal, you look through this signing class and you see a quarterback, you see 2 running backs, 6 receivers, 3 linebackers, 3 DBs, 1 defensive lineman. Kind of talk about your numbers there and you know, how Jamari plays into that.
Well, we were really young this past year, and we got all those guys back, which is great. And they're going through the process right now of developing more. They need to continue to develop both physically and mentally mature. You know, we have Rodney Kroom, who just came at mid-year, who's joined us. We have Milan Lanier, who's a young guy who played last year. We have we've got Ty Tyler coming back. Sharkey Johnson started to play towards the end of the year. So we have a lot of guys coming back and a lot of guys who are able to help us in this class that we're really excited about.
One stat that I mentioned to you earlier today that I found kind of midway through the 2016 season, finished the season with 27 sacks on the defensive side of the ball. If you look at the guys who had at least 1 sack, 9 of those 11, 9 of the top 11 were freshmen and sophomores. So you had Gary Thompson graduate, you had Joe Massaquoi graduate. Everybody else were freshmen and sophomores who were putting up those numbers. That kind of underscores what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those guys are going to continue to get better. D-line is a developmental position. Very rarely can guys come in and play right away, although it has happened, and it has happened here. But what's more likely to happen and what has happened is guys, they just get better every year. They have to be night and day different from the year before and continue to just make more and more plays and be able to, for us to continue our rotation the way we do. It also allows, that rotation also allows young guys to get game experience, which they have now. So we're turning guys this year who have actually played in games. So now they can excel in games is the whole idea. Whereas last year they were kind of going through it for the first time, traveling for the first time, playing for the first time, you know, just kind of getting a feel for how we do things, the speed of it, and now that's all second nature to them.
And before we wrap up, Coach Mirabal was talking about how next year he'll look at 3 offensive linemen for that, you know, changes every year. Do you have an idea where you're going yet for next year?
You know, we had to discuss it, but you know, we will take as many great defensive linemen as we can. There's a pretty high standard here, so we won't just take a guy to take a guy. We're going to take a guy who's, if he's good enough to play for us, we're going to get him here.
Sean Cronin, defensive line coach here at Marshall University. Next year, we're moving you up in the lineup. You're at least a cleanup hitter, I think.
Yeah. I got to be before the two Lukes.
Next up, we'll have Bill Timpano, who is compliance here at Marshall University. A little break.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. 3 showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Back once again here, Marshall 2017 Signing Day Show. Bill Timpano, Assistant Athletic Director for Compliance. Busy day for you in particular. All the faxes rolling in, letters of intent.
Yeah.
Kind of take us through what your day's like.
Today's a lot of fun, and the secret about signing day is that signing day is probably the easiest part of the entire process. Kind of going through it, signing day is the culmination of a lot of work from the coaches, a lot of work with what we do with them, answering questions, you know, them making sure that they're staying within the rules, and getting these kids to campus, offering them scholarships, and doing it the right way. So this process really starts with the visits the kids take to campus, the communications, and kind of looking at their eligibility to see who's eligible for an offer. And like Alex Mirabal said, the guys don't offer just one player in one position. There's no really guarantees anymore. Kids commit and decommit all the time. So we'll start getting requests for NLIs in early January. Start getting that list together, checking their eligibility. Working with the coaches to let them know what they'll need to do to become eligible, and then it's a matter of finalizing that list. As of this past Monday, sending them out to the prospects, the high school academic counselors, and other family members to get them back and get them signed. And our graduate assistant in compliance, Brady Mangus, did an absolutely fantastic job with this. It's a massive undertaking to put together so many packets, and it goes beyond him too. It's Coach Gale, it's Coach Gold being on top of his stuff. It's Deshaun Brown and Russ Kieselhorst, who do a great job with the administrative aspects of the recruiting process and keeping the football staff organized.
I mean, you guys are much smarter than I am in compliance. Help me sort through red shirt, blue shirt, gray shirt. What does all that mean?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And we'll start with the most talked about one, and that's the blue shirt. A blue shirt is just essentially a strategy for the coaches to stay within their initial counter limits. It's essentially deferring a scholarship to the following year. A red shirt is a student who just doesn't participate during that year, during any year, whether it be for eligibility, for a transfer residence, for an injury. A red shirt is essentially just a year that they don't participate. A gray shirt typically tends to be a mid-year enrollee, or a transfer prospect, or even a high school prospect that's kind of finalizing their eligibility requirements to become eligible immediately upon enrollment. And that gray shirt aspect is where they enroll at mid-year in order to do that, where they might have signed previously, but they need that fall term at their junior college or at their high school, or taking that extra class after high school to get eligible.
We still have a couple minutes with you. If someone walks up to you and you say, yeah, I work in compliance for a college athletic department, how do you begin to explain kind of what all goes into your days? Because it's pretty broad.
What's really interesting, and every day it's something new. I want to bring up a few specific examples that we've been working with without getting too specific. But right now I'm mastering the curriculum sheet in the College of Health Sciences, which is something that has been very perplexing. But just just to build off that, today it's academic eligibility and signing day. You know, the next part of this process is going to be getting our signees for football and men's and women's soccer, who also signed today, getting them ready to enroll in classes, as well as our signees from all of our other sports for the fall, and you know, finalizing eligibility, you know, reevaluating their academic progress to make sure that they enroll eligible, and you know, they're ready to come onto campus as athletes, but also as students. So it's working with the Buck Harlow Student Athlete Program and all the constituents on campus to make that transition easy for them.
Not only is Billy rocking the Kelly Green tie today on National Signing Day, when the letters of intent were rolling into his office, he was blasting Thunderstruck out of his computer. I mean, he was all in on signing day today, ready to go, probably too much coffee.
Maybe the coffee, but it's always good to have you know, have that energy, so it was a lot of fun.
You mentioned Brady, Jeff O'Malley. Also, if you could talk about how kind of he is involved in this process.
Yeah, for sure. So after the departure of our former associate AD, Andrew Donovan, Jeff O'Malley kind of took oversight of our office, and I kind of stepped in and in between those positions. And Brady Mangus is our graduate assistant right now, who does a fantastic job. And it's just kind of the disbursement of responsibilities kind of goes from Jeff on down. So Brady and I have been handling the signing day for 3 years now. So it just comes easy to us. And there's other administrative roles, you know, organizing miscellaneous waivers we might file, and Jeff O'Malley will have a big hand in that, you know, pertaining to student athlete eligibility, so on and so forth. But it's a great structure, and things are going well.
All right. Bill Tupano, Assistant Athletic Director for Compliance. Thanks for joining us today.
Definitely.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
But always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom,
on the field,
in the community,
and wherever life takes you. Show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
It's time.
It's time. It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. Free showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.
All right, welcome back to the Marshall Football 2017 Signing Day show. We still have Doc Holliday, head football coach, coming up next, but before we get to him, we have Assistant Athletic Director for Football Operations, Mark Gell, and this is a stage here. We've got two chairs, a Cowboys fan and a Redskins fan, sitting together, and we like each other. There's nothing. I like you.
Except for.
I like you.
Well,
okay.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you got that
I
straight.
like you. It was, you know, it wasn't a great deal for the Redskins in that matchup this year. We got swept. Mark, you've seen how many of these now? Signing day. I put up a story the other day on herdzone.com. Please go read it. Go to herdzone.com, Word on the Herd, and read it on kind of the evolution of recruiting. You've probably seen it come from something that is nothing like it is now.
Well, you're exactly right. When I first started, we didn't have computers, and we didn't have fax machines, and you didn't have this, and you didn't have that. We were present. We were at everybody's signing, and it took quite a bit of coordination to be able to be at, you know, I need somebody to sign at 7, I need somebody to sign at 9:15 because it's going to take me a while to get there, and then, you know, all of a sudden you're at maybe that second or third of 5 or 6 signings you're going to be at that day, and then you've got grandma that wants one more picture and one more this, and you know, you're going to be late to that next signing at such and such school. But you know, now it's really kind of made easy. Instead of hurrying and getting it in a Federal Express packet and hoping it gets there on time and it gets delivered on time, and then you know, sign, and then you know, you receive it back. Now you can do it so many different ways: scanning, emailing, fax machine, taking a picture on your cell phone, and texting it in. So there's so many different ways that you can do it compared to what it used to be.
What is your role when it comes to recruiting? What kind of things are you most involved with for prospective students?
You know, every now and then I'll be grabbed and we'll go and look at some video, do some evaluation. You know, that's something that I took a great amount of pride in when I was still coaching and recruiting, and I still enjoy watching and evaluating. And I'll go in there and sit if the defensive staff is watching a particular young man, or the offensive staff, I'll go and sneak in the back of the room. And you know, I still enjoy that. And you know, just like this last weekend, I on Friday gave a welcome to before they went to dinner Friday night, gave a welcome to the families. And you know, I've been here a while. I probably know a little bit that maybe I can answer some of the questions that maybe mom and dad, guardian, whoever it may be, may have. That so maybe I'm an encyclopedia, a resource, or just a guy who's been here a heck of a long time.
I was going to say that you've not only been around a while, you're a father of student athlete, you coached, you've been in the athletic administration side. You've kind of seen everything when it comes to. If you got a question, let's go ask Mark. He might have.
Go ask the old guy.
Go ask the old guy. On official visits, is that something that you're heavily?
I'm here. I just it's something that I enjoy. I enjoy meeting, getting to know. You want to make them understand and realize that, in which it's not just lip service that's paid to it, but it is a family. And again, just being around them and just kind of sitting in the shadows and watching how they interact amongst themselves. Yeah, I'm here on recruiting weekends.
A lot of people like to compare signing day to Christmas morning, but it's not so much like Christmas morning for, say, my 4-year-old, who everything's a surprise.
Right.
It's more of a Christmas morning for adult. And you know, I asked for a few things specifically. We're going to get up on Christmas morning and make sure that we got what we asked for. What's exciting about signing day for you?
Just the culmination of a lot of hard work has come to fruition. Knowing that, you know, we've already started on the 18 class. And, you know, offers are already being put out for the 18 class. And just like I said, just a culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and you've talked to enough people today. It's just not one or two people. It's just not a football staff. There are so many different, you know, it's like that car engine. If the alternator goes out, or the starter goes out, or the water pump, you've got to have everything. All the pistons, the spark plugs have to be firing. And, you know, it's just a well-oiled machine. And people, I think, just think it's maybe one of these or one of that. But it's so many different people that, and there's so many people on campus and in the community that we have to thank. In town, as far as the restaurants that we visit, or the hotels that we put our recruits and their families up in, and the different places on campus that, you know, we take our kids by, as far as the dorms and the rec centers, and, you know, our academics and our training and medical staff and our equipment staff and our strength staff. So there's just so many different people that make this come together. And knowing that, yes, it is Christmas Day, and, you know, these are our presents, and now let's see what we can do with our presents.
And then we'll wrap up with this. I mean, my favorite part of signing day is the fact that we're getting 20 new people, 20-ish new people. As the person who gets to tell their story, I get to learn about them and learn where they came from and what made them what they are and how they fit in with the team, and get to watch them go from incoming freshmen to graduating seniors on senior day. Is it the people part of it that still just excites you the most?
Oh, there's no question about it. You know, seeing young men that get an opportunity that might not otherwise have an opportunity, and hearing that I'm the first in my family to go to college, to get an opportunity, it just gives you a sense of joy that you can be a part of that, and you can help them realize maybe a lifelong dream, and maybe not just for them, but for their entire family.
All right, we got Assistant Athletic Director, Football Operations, Mark Gale. Mark, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
but always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom,
On the field,
In the community.
And wherever life takes you, show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
All right, we're back here at the Marshall Football 2017 Signing Day Show inside of the Shuey Building. We're here with head football coach Doc Holliday, our last guest of the day. Putting the finishing touches on this, Doc. We came here in the morning, still dark out. Kids were coming out of mat drills all worn out, and that's a good sign. We're kind of putting the finishing touches on this class today, and what kind of excites you about it?
Well, what excites me about it, I think we've met a lot of needs that we had to meet. I think the one thing that's really exciting is 9 of these guys are already on campus. We had the opportunity to see those guys in mat drills this morning. And National Signing Day always coincides with our first mat drills. So when mat drills roll around, it's also National Signing Day. We're waiting on one more player that hopefully we get signed here in the next 15 or 20 minutes, and that should wrap things up. But again, I think we've met our needs. Our coaches did a tremendous job, worked extremely hard. Todd Goebel did a great job of getting this all organized, and I'm excited about the guys we got.
All right, let's run through them. These are alphabetical by position. The first one up is a guy named Tyree Brady, real exciting kid, 6'3", 200, out of Homestead, Florida. I mean, his tape kind of jumps off the tape at you, doesn't it?
Well, there's no question. I mean, we've had the opportunity to see him on the field, and he's just a guy that works extremely hard. He's got great skill set, tremendous player. The thing I like about him is he goes to work every day. I mean, when you add him to that room of receivers this year, I coached receivers a long time, and I coached a guy one time named Reggie Rimbert, who was a first-round draft pick, and you added him to the room of the rest of those other guys, it brought the level of play for all those other guys up to his standard. And I'm excited about him. Glad he's here. He's going to be a tremendous player for us.
The guy who joined that room, too, is Janiro Crankfield out of Clearwater, Florida. We had Fuller in here, Goebel, both talking about him earlier. What do you like about him?
A great kid, grew up tough, found a way to get things done. Family down in that area took him in years ago, and he's just a great success story that's also happens to be a great player, so we're excited about him.
Montario Hunt, Mississippi kid, 6'1", 176, also a receiver. Guy that should fit in nicely.
Yeah, he's a guy that, I got some connections at Mississippi State with, had the opportunity to work with Dan Mullen. We were at the University of Florida. Of course, Billy Gonzalez is also there. He coached the Whiteouts at Florida when I was there, and they liked this kid a lot, and they thought he was an excellent player that would have played for them, and we're excited about having him.
If you like stars, if you're into the stars in recruiting, Darian Owens is a 4-star kid, 5'11", 188. He's ready to go.
He's another guy that's on campus here, just like Brady, and you had the opportunity to see him in mat drills. He's got great work ethic, works extremely hard, always working his game, and he's another guy that I felt like we had to get more explosive at the receiver position, and he's a guy that, along with Brady, that brings explosives, brings speed, and the skill set that we need at that wide receiver position.
Explosiveness, Naquan Reynolds, he should definitely bring that right away.
He's another guy, another receiver that Sean did a great job with down there that has got the same type of skills. And the one thing that Todd, we had to get faster at that position. We had to get guys that could run, and we were not going to take a guy at the receiver position that can't stretch the field and get vertical. I think we missed that. I know we've missed that the last couple of years, but I think we've got that in this class.
Sixth and final receiver that'll join us, Marcel Williams. How does he cap off that class?
Another guy that's on campus, who we like a lot. Had him in camp. We know he can run. He's another guy that brings the speed to the field. Another great kid that worked extremely hard. And with Brady and Owens and Marcel already here, was in mat drills this morning, already on campus. Being able to participate in spring ball is going to be huge.
2 running backs. Sheldon Evans is the first one out of Roswell, Georgia. 3-star kid by every recruiting service. 36th best running back in the nation. How does he?
Yeah, he brings. You look for those guys. Number one, you're looking for toughness. He's a tough kid that finishes runs. He can run. He played in an extremely tough league. Won a lot of games down there. Had great success in that league, and he's what you're looking for in a running back.
Kavon Reese is another guy who joined that room.
Same guy. Cleveland, Ohio, played tremendous against good people, and brings a lot of the same skill sets to the table.
You bring all your quarterbacks back, and then you add Isaiah Green into this mix. I mean, this is a guy that a lot of people have talked about for a while.
Isaiah was a guy that we had in camp this past summer, committed to us early on in the process, and you worry about that a little bit when a guy commits that early. But he came in, and he's what we like. He's a dual threat guy that's got the ability to beat you with his feet, not only with his arm. He's a tremendous young man. He comes from a tremendous high school that produces an awful lot of players, and we're excited about him. There's some people made a run at him there at the end the last couple of weeks, and we were able to hang on, which was good.
Staying on the offensive side of the ball, but now at tight end, Armani Levias. You got Ryan Yurchek coming back there. Armani's not a bad guy to pair with him.
Well, we wanted to get a little bigger guy. He's about 6'5". He's a little over 6'5", probably about 250 pounds, and he's another guy that's on campus. He's had the opportunity to get in the weight room now. He's in the mat drills. Again, what excites me about these kids that joined us in January is they don't flinch. They go in there, they're able to handle the workload that we're giving them, which is the toughest it's been since I've been here. Right now, and it should be. And but he's like I say, he's gone in there. He's got to gain some strength, but Luke will get that done in the off season. But I like where he is. I like what he's all about. He's always got a smile on his face, and he's a guy that we're excited about.
And he's a big guy, but he played quarterback and basketball. So while he's big, he's got a little athleticism.
He's big, but if you watch him on tape, I mean, he can separate. He's got tremendous ball skills, and he's going to bring a little bigger body to our offense, which at times we need.
Offensive line, you had room for one. You took Kyron Taylor out of this group. What's that guy?
Well, he's an amazing wrestler. I mean, he probably could have gone anywhere in the country on a wrestling scholarship. He's been a 2-time state champion. He's a national champion a year ago. He's just he hasn't lost. He doesn't just win. He dominates them, and he's a tough guy. Wrestling's probably the toughest sport there is. It's a one-on-one. You watch him. He's got great toughness. He's strong. He's a great kid, and I know a lot of people when you worry about the number of people you sign at a certain position, but from a recruiting standpoint, we have certain numbers at every position that we try to meet. The offensive line, for example, was 15, and we're at 14 there right now. So, we're right on where we want to be there at the offensive line position as far as numbers go. We just have to continue to develop these guys, but we're excited about Kyron coming on board.
Same on the defensive side of the ball. As far as up front, not a lot of room for guys. Rodney Kroom, that's one guy we can fit in there.
Yeah, Rodney Kroom is a guy that, again, he's on campus, like what he's all about. Handled the workout extremely well this morning, which for a young guy, that's you don't see that a lot, but he's a guy that's going to get, by the time you give him a whole winter and give him a spring ball, I won't be surprised if he's got the opportunity to help us this year.
Jamari Edwards is another defensive lineman, 6'3", 240, out of Carroll City High School in Miami, Florida. Probably, that's your neck of the woods there.
It is. I mean, it's a tremendous program. Damon Cogdell is the defensive coach down there, who I recruited in high school and also coached. In Aubrey Hill is the head coach down there. He's a good friend of mine. They've done a tremendous job. Won state championship this year at the largest classification in the state of Florida. Played against tremendous competition. He's a guy that's only about 240 pounds right now, but he's a skinny 240. When it's all said and done, he'll be a big player that's athletic, that can run, and we like what he's all about.
Mentioned this in the segment with Sean Cronin, but 27 sacks out of your defense last year. Gary Thompson had 5. Joe Mascoy had 1. The rest were freshmen and sophomores. You got all those guys coming back.
Well, they're all coming back, and they just got to continue to develop. We got to get stronger. We got to get stronger up front. Got a lot of young guys. We went into mat drills this morning, and we had 52 guys. Now that's including walk-ons that have never participated. So it's you got a lot of guys that are doing it for the first time, and there's some young guys, but there are some talented guys that we have to bring along quick.
Moving back a little bit, we got Artis Johnson. You should fit in right at linebacker. It's listed linebacker, safety. Where do you think he'll fit in?
Well, he's very athletic. He can play both. Our Sam Backer is, and safety's kind of a Sam/safety. If you have a guy like we have with DJ Hunter over the years that can do both, you can play a little bit more base defense, but he brings athleticism. He's another guy that's brought toughness. Again, we like about him and Moody, who we'll talk about here in just a second. Those guys haven't missed a beat. They've got right into the weight room. They've handled the workload we've given them. They reacted really well this morning with the mat drills, where we try to make it as difficult as we possibly can on them, but they handled it well. And he's another guy that I'm glad he's here early, and the spring ball is going to help us.
Yeah, you mentioned Moody, 6'2", 220. He's a guy who's here, and it doesn't matter whether you like stars or if you look at who's offered him. I mean, everybody was after this kid.
Well, you know what? In the end, probably would be playing the SEC if he was 205 pounds when he visited us, and he visited Ole Miss the following weekend. Was probably about the same. But he's gained about 18, 20 pounds since he's been here, just a short period of time. But he's a guy that goes to work every day, handles his business. Just a really mature young guy that he's, again, similar to Artis and the rest of these new guys that come in here. Really surprised the way they've handled themselves and how hard they've worked in the weight room to this point, and just the way they've handled everything they've done.
Moving to the secondary, Kirion Morrell.
Athletic guy that's a little taller. He's about 6'1", maybe a little taller, but he's very athletic. He's another guy that's done a really great job. The one thing that you can tell with the skill development and the mat drills and the things we're doing right now is he can really run. He can turn his hips, and he's going to be a good player for us.
Sherrod Thompson, 6'2", 195. I mean, this is a guy who should right away make a big impact.
Glad we got him. I mean, I know Coach Heater talked to Gary Anderson out of Oregon State, who he was committed to at one time, and Gary thought he was just a tremendous player and a great young guy, and liked what he was all about, and we're glad he's part of us.
You talk about guys who are athletic and explosive. Nerion Washington, 6'1", 170 out of Arcadia, Florida. He's played receiver, running back. He can pretty much do it all.
Yeah, just a great, what a fun guy to be around. Just loved him on the visit. And you get those guys in your office, and you have a chance to sit down and talk to them one-on-one, and you find out what they're all about, where they came from, what's important to them, and that type of thing. And he just bubbles. I mean, he's always got a smile on his face. He's just so happy to be a part of Marshall University football. He just so appreciative of everything that's happened for him from his high school standpoint to coming here. Had him in camp a year ago. We had him in our football camp a year ago. Had the opportunity to work with him, and just extremely athletic, long corner, which is what you're looking for.
All right, we're going to take just one more quick break, and then we'll be back here to wrap it up with Doc Holliday.
I am ready to do all that I can. I can reach new heights, go farther than I have. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall. I am driven to succeed, skilled and destined to lead. I'm part of a community, even more than that, a family. I am motivated to make it, to show the world all I can be. I am a son. I am a daughter of Marshall.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
but always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates no matter the situation.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom,
On the field,
In the community.
And wherever life takes you, show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
Welcome back for the final time. Marshall Football 2017 Signing Day show here inside the Shuey building. Fun, exciting day here. Got Doc Holliday, started early. Letters of intent started rolling at 7. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen now between spring ball. And I'll tell you, something that's intriguing to me is when I walked in this morning, it's still dark outside, and I see these players wandering out of the strength, the weight room, covered in sweat and look like they've been whipped. Is that kind of the objective here? Is
Well,
push them really hard?
You know, I just looked at, I mean, any time, I mean, I've said many times that you don't win games in September. You win games what happens from January until you get through camp in August and September. But it started. You know, Luke and our strength staff have done a tremendous job. You know, it's our job to put these guys in really difficult positions and try to develop them as players. It starts with strength. It starts with discipline. And I think the most important thing about that weight room right now is number one, developing strength, but developing toughness, developing discipline, and you got to get a bunch of players that you can trust to go win football games. And so on Mondays, you know, we actually work the strength part of it along with some agilities and running. Tuesdays, these guys will go in, they'll have their normal lift time, and then we'll get them as coaches. The one thing the NCAA has done the last going on 3 years now is we're actually allowed to get out and coach these guys on the field without balls, but to actually do the skill development more like an individual part of practice. So we'll go out on Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We'll do like a 35-minute individual period, which gives us the opportunity to work with Carry-On Morrell, gives Todd the opportunity to work with Brady and Marcel Williams and Owens, those guys getting really coached for the first time as far as the drill work is concerned with wideouts, et cetera. And then we do some competitive agilities at the end. And anytime we get into competitive agilities, there's always a winner and a loser. And it's really good around here to be a winner, and it's awful if you're a loser. So, so we do that on Tuesdays, come back on Wednesdays, and you put them in a mat drill situation. And what you try to get out of that mat drill situation is just put them in the most uncomfortable position that you can put them in, and make them find out about kids. You want to find out as much as you possibly can of how they react to adversity and that type of thing, and that's what we're trying to find out in those mat drills, which we've done over the years, and come back on Thursday, which is like a Tuesday, get back to skill development, and on Friday be a normal lift day for them. So they're staying busy, 5 days a week, and it's important that we do a really good job of getting these guys developed. It was not only his strength, but also his players, and our staff's doing a great job with that right now.
Is that the mat drills? Is that something multiple programs do? Is it something you did at other schools? Did you start it here?
It started way back. I mean, I remember doing them with Joe Pendry was our coach back when I did it when I played back in when we did mat drills way back, and so it's something that's carried over. And I know we did it at Florida. We've done it. We did. Of course, we brought it here. We've done it here since I've been here. They changed it a little bit because it used to get that you could wrestle and do a lot of things, but you can no longer have contact with players one-on-one. So there's a few things that have changed, but you just you get to do some things a little bit different, some toughness aspects of it. But mat drills has really been a part of that. Wherever I've been, to develop toughness and confidence and see how kids react to adversity.
Okay, from a recruiting standpoint, obviously you've already started working toward class of 2018. We'll be sitting here in a year talking about those guys. But between now and the kickoff of spring football drills, what are you coaching staff doing? And then looking into spring, what do you hope to achieve there?
You always go back and evaluate everything that happened the year before. So you go through all your cut-ups and you find ways to improve, whether go on the road and meet with other staffs, bring staffs into here to talk football, but you're evaluating exactly what you're doing. And then, of course, you still work with your kids with skill development on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You do the mat drills, of course, on Wednesdays. We meet every Monday as a staff. We talk about every kid on our football team academically with our academic staff. It's important that our kids, number one, our APR is extremely high because our academic staff do a tremendous job. Lisa's doing a great job with them, and our coaches are also responsible to make sure they're on top of their kids as far as academics. So first thing we do on Monday of every week is talk about every kid to make sure that's all set. But there's a lot of things that go into it, and of course, when spring ball starts, you continue to develop the football part of it.
And then looking at what you've got coming back, I mean, you've got all your quarterbacks back, all your running backs back. You're kind of starting over at receiver in a way. You've got 14 offensive linemen coming back, and then we've already talked about how young you were on the defensive side of the ball. Is that excitement that you get to continue building with these guys?
We played a lot of football, but we didn't. The important thing is we got to continue to develop these players. At the end of the day, you got a lot of guys back, but they got to become players that can compete for championships. That's what we do around here. They understand that what happened a year ago is not acceptable. They got to get better, and we're doing everything we can possibly do in every aspect of the program to make sure that these kids are developed and become really good players.
Now that signing day is over, is this you kind of feel relieved? What's the approach here for Doc Holliday?
I think I know I got tremendous staff that work extremely hard at what they do, and the other part that goes into it from now until spring ball is we'll spend a couple days a week actually recruiting, getting ready for next year. Our guys, when they go on the road in May, will have their whole area evaluated. So they'll talk to every coach. They'll evaluate every prospect in the area. So when we actually get on the road in May, we're not wasting time. We're going where the players are, get a chance to watch them practice, watch tape, whatever we got to do on the road. But we spend a lot of time on recruiting now to this point and getting ready to go.
And we'll welcome the media in here a little bit and talk to them. You'll get to talk to them about the class, and then you get to go to the signing day party and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's always, number one, it's always great to see our fans out there and have the opportunity to share the recruits with them, and maybe have a little surprise there when we get there. I think we got a shot at getting a really good player here in the next 30 or 40 minutes. So hopefully that happens, and we can announce that at tonight's party.
Yeah, we had a few highlights, and hopefully you can run that kid's highlight tape there later. That'd be a good way to kind of cap off this 2017 signing day.
I would guess there's a pretty good shot that may happen.
All right. I'm Chuck McGill, Assistant Athletic Director, Fan, Donor, Engagement, and Communications. Please visit herdzone.com, Word on the Herd, read my stuff. If you want to get the Thundering Herd Illustrated, we're 6 issues in. Would love for you to be able to be on that list. Contact the Big Green. This is Doc Holliday, head football coach at Marshall University. Thank you to all of our other guests here. Thank you very much to Aaron Goebel for helping put this together. See you next year.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
1, 2, 3, together. 3 showtime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, showtime.
Together, it's time.
It's time for you to join us. It's time for you to join the Big Green.